All right, it's media day. We are talking 9-6A with head coach of Sachse Red Behrens. Coach, man, oh days, that was a crazy district last year with the zoning and Rowlett losing to Wiley at the end and not making a play. That thing was just a mess. But how happy are you that you made it through that and are back to normal this year?
Well, I don't know if we're back to normal, but we're closer to normal. And first of all, I want to tell you thanks for giving us a shout out. But yeah, it was crazy. I mean, whenever from week to week, we didn't know who we were going to play and when we were going to play. And so, yes, it was a big mess, and we survived it. Continue on playoffs, but we didn't win the district. And so we're re-straightening our ship out, and we're going to be gunning for the district championship.
I was going to say last year was definitely not a Sachse type year, not that what you're used to over the past years of going 3-6, but you do bring back a heck of a quarterback, a heck of a playmaker. Talk a little bit about Alex Orgy and what you hope he brings to the table in his senior year.
Well, but before that, I want to brag on what we did defensively during the offseason, because we've got a lot of kids that got a lot of experience, and they're coming back, and they are ready to, I guess you'd say, readjust, their dominance in the district. And so we're real excited about that group, and they had a great spring. And talk about Alex. Alex hadn't had an off season as a true quarterback, and so he had that opportunity. And I think, that, and then all his summer work that he's put in, I think he's going to be a different player than he was last year.
Yeah, we saw him all over this summer. We saw him at Elite 11 deals. We saw him at every single place. You think that kind of experience he can kind of bring back and maybe talk with you about it? Hey, I learned this, that, and this. Can we kind of accumulate that into our offense?
Well, yeah, definitely so. And, we made a change offensively, and we're going to be a little bit different than what we've been in the last couple of years. But he's going to be very involved, and that's what we want. We want he touches the ball every time, so he needs to be involved. And he's a great athlete, and more than that, he's a great character kid. He's a great leader, and you can't ask for anything else out of your quarterback.
Hey, talk about some of the defensive players that DFW may not have heard about that you're excited about for their 2021 season.
Well, obviously, we got defensive tackles, an all-district player, Albion Krasnicki. He's the younger brother the young man went through several years ago, and he's had a great offseason, and he's very athletic to be a big kid. He's a 250 kid that's very athletic. And then, obviously, we got a kid on the outside, Michael O, who we moved from receiver. We tried him at outside backer, and it just wasn't familiar enough with him. We didn't have that off season that we wanted last year. So halfway through the season, we adjusted back to our four-man front, put him at defensive end, and I think we found a home for him. He was up at the Texas Tech camp, and they were like, "Man, who's this guy running a 4.4?" And I said, "He's a defensive end." And he goes, "Man," I said, he's nice. So we've got some guys that are along that line, and we're excited about them on defense. We're kind of too deep with them, and that's what we needed.
Well, let's end this thing by talking about the rest of 9-6A. Man, it sure looks like Garland is trying to get back to the 90s and early 2000s the way they were doing things. And talk about them and maybe the rest of some of these teams in the district.
Okay. Well, obviously, Garland, they're extremely talented athletically, offensively, with their quarterback and receivers. Their receivers are something else. A lot of skilled kids. And so that's going to be a challenge for everybody in the district to keep those guys kind of curtailed and slow them down a little bit. But, and then don't forget you got Lakeview, who's athletic every year, and they'll be a force in our district. And then last year's David Force came up, and we knew that was a really good class. And so they get things going a little bit. They ought to be a good foe. And then obviously you can't forget the team outside of our district, our GISD district, and that's Wiley. So this ought to be fun going into the season. Ought to be a battle every week.
Absolutely. Yeah, you look at things, it looks like there's going to be 6 teams fighting for those 4 spots. And then you can never count out. You can't look past South or North Garland. But
oh, no. And I'm going to tell you, they both got solid guys, and their coaching is good. So, yeah, and North Garland's got a really good sophomore class that's just loaded to the gills, and so it's going to be a fun season in South. They've had a really good. Monson has really done a great job over there. So this is going to be a fun district this year. There ought to be battles every week and shootouts. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, I'm definitely excited, and heck, we're only a couple weeks away. So good luck, Coach, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, I appreciate it, Ward. Let's have a great football season.